The authorities are saying that the singer David bought 2 chainsaws that he had delivered to his house, as well as an inflatable pool and a shovel days after Celeste would have no more active phone communication with David or anyone else. What the authorities are suggesting is that Celeste became very jealous of other minors that David was allegedly interacting with, and because of the obvious wrongdoing that David was brainwashing Celeste with, she finally seen the light and was going to expose David for grooming her. And allegedly, David called Celeste to come meet him at about 10 o'clock at night, and location history of the Uber that dropped her off says she was dropped off about 10 o'clock at night, and it is believed or alleged that David possibly took Celeste's life within a short amount of time immediately after the 10 o'clock time window. Now, David is known to have at about 10:30 to have text conversations with multiple people trying to create an alibi by asking where Celeste was at about 10:30 as if he had not seen her. But nobody's buying his alleged alibi, because it just doesn't sit right with most people that this creep was able to groom multiple young women as well as to take the life of Celeste, and then the next day go on an interview where he is explaining the meaning behind the song Romantic Homicide, that if you listen to the lyrics would seem to clearly be about Celeste. There is reports that he had even dismembered Celeste and put her into the front of his car, which is called a frunk for a front trunk, and even at his residence his own friends and neighbors were noticing a very pungent and strong grotesque scent of death in the air. David just tries to play it off as if he doesn't know what it is allegedly, but a lot of people the fact that he was not forced into some situation that he was unfamiliar with. No, in fact, people suspect that David may have previously committed such heinous crimes before. What makes people believe this is that it's hard to conceive that someone would be able to, number 1, unalive someone and then grossly dismember them just on a whim or out the blue. No, this doesn't seem to be an isolated event, but a calculated, strategically thought about plan that was premeditated, because he feared that his album rollout would be ruined, as well as his possible tour coming up, and that Celeste was going to go to the authorities about their inappropriate relationship, and that she was a minor, and that he knew and had a fetish for young minor women underage. This was even seen in the online videos with Celeste covering her face up, and you can hear David saying to erase everything, delete everything. This is the reason why I believe Celeste never saw it coming and was just enamored and in all about David, that she was totally brainwashed and assumed that David wanted to speak civilly and candidly about the situation, but she never knew that she was about to be unalived by this psycho. There are a lot of online content creators covering the story about Celeste and about David, and a lot of the updates are even saying that she could have possibly been pregnant, which adds another layer to a motive that David possibly had to unalive her in the first place. If he understands that what he was doing was illegal and immoral and wrong, then the proof of his sick ways would have been a child that could have resulted in David's incarceration due to the very young age of Celeste, proving that he had groomed her from possibly as young as the age of 10. Also, just as a side note, my thoughts say, how can the parents of Celeste not be held accountable at the very least for child neglect, when some say they had made reports about Celeste being missing, when in fact they knew exactly where she was, and that was with the rapper David. So it seems that the parents could have possibly made these false allegations and reports to the authorities to try to cover their own tracks as to them having compliance and acceptance of David.